Good Wednesday, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Conversations Daily News. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. We, of course, have your news headlines coming up on this hump day. We have the truth of the day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich, and in today's entertainment spotlight, you've been part of my conversation with lifestyle expert Emily Loftiss, discussing some tips for your nutritional needs. Enjoy today's program. For Conversations Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Wednesday headlines. In national news, in Buffalo, Biden mourns victims, says evil will not win. President Joe Biden mourned with Buffalo's grieving families on Tuesday, then exhorted the nation to reject what he angrily labeled the poison of white supremacy. He said the nation must reject the lie of the racist replacement theory espoused by the shooter who killed 10 people in Buffalo. Speaking to victims' families, local officials, and first responders, Biden declared that America's diversity is its strength and warned that the nation must not be distorted by a hateful minority. He promised to expose those who promote hateful ideology. The American experiment in democracy is in danger like it hasn't been in my lifetime, Biden said on Tuesday. It's in danger this hour. Hate and fear being given too much oxygen by those who pretend to love America but who don't understand America. He pledged, in America, evil will not win, I promise you. Hate will not prevail. White supremacy will not have the last word. Back at the White House Tuesday evening, Biden laid the blame for the Buffalo incident and others not just on wackos who commit hate crimes, but also those who fill their brains with false ideas. As long as he is president, he said, I'm going to fight and we're going to expose everybody. Biden's emotional remarks came after he and First Lady Jill Biden paid their respects at a makeshift memorial of blossoms, candles, and messages of condolence outside the Top supermarket, where on Saturday, a young man armed with an assault rifle targeted black people in the deadliest racist attack in the U.S. since Biden took office. Jill and I have come to stand with you, and to the families, we have come to grieve with you, Biden said. He added, now's the time for people of all races, from every background, to speak up as a majority and reject white supremacy. Replacement theory is a racist ideology which has moved from white nationalist circles to mainstream that alleges white people and their influence are being intentionally replaced by people of color through immigration and higher birth rates. In Buffalo, the president was confronting anew the forces of hatred he frequently says called him back to seek the White House. It's important for him to show up for the families and the community and express his condolences, said Derek Johnson, the president of the NAACP. But we're more concerned with preventing this from happening in the future. The Associated Press says it's unclear how Biden can do that. Proposals for new gun restrictions have repeatedly been blocked by Republicans, and racist rhetoric espoused on the fringes of the nation's politics has only grown louder. In international news, fall of Mariupol appears at hand, fighters leave steel plant. Mariupol appears on the verge of falling to the Russians on Tuesday as Ukraine moved to abandon the steel plant where hundreds of its fighters had held out for months on a relentless bombardment in the last bastion of resistance in the devastated city. The capture of Mariupol will make it the biggest city to be taken by Moscow's forces in the war yet, and would give the Kremlin a badly needed victory, though the landscape has largely been reduced to rubble. More than 260 Ukrainian fighters, some of them severely wounded and taken out on stretchers, left the ruins of the plant on Monday and turned themselves over to the Russian side in a deal negotiated by the warring parties. Ukrainian authorities said they were working to extract the remaining soldiers from the sprawling steel mill. They would not say how many were still there, but 7 buses carrying an unknown number of Ukrainian soldiers from the plant were seen arriving at a former penal colony in a town about 55 miles north of Mariupol. In entertainment news, Jerry Lee Lewis, Keith Whitley to join Country Hall of Fame. Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Jerry Lee Lewis, the late country singer Keith Whitley, and others will join the Country Music Hall of Fame. Lewis, 86, nicknamed The Killer, wore a red sequin jacket and white shoes at Tuesday's announcement, where he was introduced by duo Brooks and Dunn. I was wondering if they were ever going to induct me, Lewis said at the press conference, but they have come around, and I was really glad and grateful for it. From Louisiana, Lewis found his initial fame under the guidance of Sam Phillips at Sun Records in Memphis, where he played alongside Elvis Presley, Carl Perkins, and Johnny Cash in the now famous $1 Million Quartet. His energy and ego were showcased on his early rock hits like Great Balls of Fire and Whole Lot of Shaking Going On. And finally, in business news, markets shake off doldrums as traders get back to buying. Stocks bounced back after a lackluster start to the week with a broad rally on Tuesday as traders got back to buying again after a mostly miserable few weeks on Wall Street. The S&P 500 rose 2%, with more than 90% of the companies in the benchmark index notching gains. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 1.3%, and the Nasdaq gained 2.8%. Overall, the S&P 500 rose 81 points to 4,089. The Dow gained 431 points to 32,655. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's on time for the Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich. Mary Ellen, take it away.
Hi. This is Mary Ellen with your Truth of the Day. Honesty creates harmony. When you are honest in your relationships, interactions will be open with nothing to hide. First, like anything else, you must be honest with yourself. Ask yourself the following questions. Number 1, do you think before you speak? Number 2, do you say what you mean and mean what you say? Always following through with actions. Number 3, do you communicate with others in an open and honest way, being sure they hear and understand you? And number 4, do you look at both sides of any situation? Honesty is important because it is your internal regulator to keep you balanced. When you are out of balance, you see your world off balance as well. Balance without harmony, without honesty, you cannot have a healthy relationship with anyone. Today, choose to be honest with yourself and others, and enjoy the day.
We are part of my conversation coming up with Lifestyle Expert Emily Loftiss in today's Entertainment Spotlight. Stay with us. You're listening to Conversation Daily News. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with the Entertainment Spotlight. Lifestyle expert Emily Loftiss joined me on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about some ideas to help you with your health and wellness this spring and summer. Here's a bit of our conversation.
So, Emily, I think, for one, as we're kind of thinking about our health and wellness, I think it all begins with starting. So what tip do you have for anyone that's starting a new wellness journey?
First off, you have to start with a routine that you love. You're not going to stick to it if you don't like it. And personally, I don't know about you, but I love jelly beans. And when I found out that Solgar had a jelly bean form, I knew I could stick to a multivitamin. The brand just launched a line of jelly bean supplements that provide nutritional support with a dash of fun. These great-tasting multivitamin jelly beans are non-GMO, gelatin-free, and available for adults and children, and of course, exclusively sold at the Vitamin Shop.
Love that. And you're right. I mean, who doesn't like that? And so, I mean, as we're kind of thinking about something that tastes good but also is good for us, are there any other nutritional gummy vitamins that are out there, Emily, that you would recommend for our audience?
Here are some lower sugar options that also taste amazing. My favorites are New Chapter and Mega Food. New Chapter's new line of nutrient-packed multivitamin gummies are made with organic blue agave fiber. How cool is that? Making it sweet enough to replace unnecessary sugar, all while containing 17 essential and fermented nutrients, all packed in a delicious gummy. And then for my vegetarians out there, we have Mega Food. These gummies have 3 grams of sugar or less, and they're super flavorful. Plus, they have real food in them, plus added nutrients that are so yummy. Cyrus, you're going to want to try them all. They are crafted without corn syrup, artificial flavors, or colors.
Emily, from your experience, what is something that people often overlook as they're building up their new routine when it comes to health and wellness?
I have one word for you, fiber. When it comes to nutrition, to properly digest foods, fiber is a must, and supplements can really help you with that.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning into this edition of Conversations Daily News. Prepare to get on tomorrow's more news, Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich, and of course your Entertainment Spotlight. Until then, I'm your host Cyrus Webb saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Daily News today. Let's make it a great one.